Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday again. I want to welcome you to the Empowering Self and Soul Esteem sessions. I hope you're doing well today. It's the end of the week again. It's gone fast, hasn't it? So today I want to jump right in. Today we're going to talk about managing your own life force energy, your personal power. So what does this mean? Well, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And here on earth, this physical vessel that we have, it's all about energy. So everything is energy. And we really can struggle with life's issues and things like that go on, and I'm going to talk about this in terms of we're challenged every day on a daily basis with situations whereby we have to act quickly, where we feel we have no control, and it's challenging. It's really challenging. And I want you to imagine that, well, it's not even imagining it, it is the case. Imagine we're like an hourglass, and the bottom of this hourglass, so this body that we have, at the bottom of the hourglass is the widest part of who we are. This is to do with the lower chakra energy systems within the body. And in the middle is where the heart is. So this is kind of the turning point. And I'm talking about energetically in terms of how energy flows within the body and how we are built, really. So we have this wide base, and we come into this life with karma. We are given within our family, within the place that we're born into. We are products of the karma of our parents, ultimately, in terms of our physical form. So we carry this, and as we get older, I talked a little bit about this last week, we naturally take on the opinions and the beliefs of everyone who raises us, who our family essentially, and our society, culturally, the people that we're surrounded with. So all of this kind of infiltrates into our being from a very, very young age. It's kind of who we are at the root of who we are, really. And we literally spend the rest of our life kind of letting go of all those elements that have created us, that we've been born into. When we come up into the second chakra of the body, it's very much during our teenage years. It's all about one-on-one relationships, learning to come out of the tribe. So we still are part of our karma, our ancestry, but we're really formulating one-on-one relationships. And this part of the body is the body that's very tactile. It's very much to do with finances, survival. Whether we realize it or not, instinctively we walk into a room, and we're kind of our awareness is in the second chakra. We're kind of sensing where's safe, where is safe, where to sit in a room. We kind of do this automatically. We're not even aware that we're doing it. Out on the street, we're sensing people all the time. Safety, survival. So this second chakra, the first chakra, is all about protection, survival, that kind of awareness, ultimately, that level of consciousness. And it never goes away. It's just that this is what we get to learn to manage as we grow older and become more wise. And when we come up into the third chakra, which we primarily spoke about last week with self-esteem, this is where we are one. This is where we then get to choose. We're coming out of the tribe again. We're going into our own life. We're making our own choices, our own career choices, our own life choices. Where do we want to live, etc. So this is our place of initial kind of empowerment, like really, and it's not always easy. You know, some of us, it takes a lot longer to find out who we are, to feel comfortable, you know, all of that. So what I want to do today is bring our awareness more towards working with these lower chakras, with these primal archetype. They are the archetypes because they're survival archetypes. But really look at how that affects us with making choices that we you know, the choices we're kind of given every day. We are challenged every day with opportunities to give our power away or to keep our power. We're given opportunities every day to, every moment, in fact, to really be present to that. And when the world is happening, when we're looking outside of us, as we are every day, and we have work commitments and we have life commitments, we are constantly in the mode of creation, but constantly in the mode of doing what's necessary in each moment by moment. And what I want to talk about today is really the choice that we have, and we don't always think that we have choice because we're so busy, in terms of, you know, making choices that are healthy for us, because when we're super busy, we don't realize we actually have a choice. And when we basically we are born with all of this information that's infused in us. We have inherited it, so to speak. And the rest of our lives is spent really finding our own way forward, kind of coming out of what we've inherited and choosing what we want to do going forward and how we want to be and how we want to feel. And it's tricky, and we spend the rest of our lives doing that. But what about if this thought, imagine this thought that we've kind of been infused from the bottom up, but at the same time, as we're maturing, as we're getting older, we're also, think of it like every day we have a certain, like every morning we wake up, you know, we've rested, we wake up in the morning, we have a certain amount of energy that's coming into us from above, information that's coming through, and this is intuition, this is natural source of energy, like really. And what happens as the day goes on is if we're not careful and we're not managing it well enough, is that we're not listening and we're not in tune with being present and being in that place of healthy alignment where we're hearing in a situation, you know, we have a thought, you know, I shouldn't eat that because it's really bad for me. But we're so in our body rather than really receiving, we're really in the experience of doing, that we block it out and we take action a lot on the things that are just in front of us. We don't put any more thought or consideration into that. We just act upon what is in front of us. And what I wanted to bring the awareness into awareness for this weekend's kind of thoughts, things to think about, is that, you know, if we can make, the reason why it's difficult to be present and to receive information, to really feel, sense how we're feeling, how we want to respond, is because we become attached to the busyness. We become attached to getting things done. You know what it's like when you're busy, like the whole day goes and you think, oh my God, where's that day just gone? Because, gosh, that was my life, that was a day. And before you know it, especially when you have kids, there's another week, there's another year, there's another decade. And it's pretty scary when, you know, we're down the road and we look back and, God, like, what have I done with my life? I've missed so much of it. So it is super, super important that we really work to be in the present moment. Now, and to be consciously aware of our decisions. and choices in every moment. Now, what stops us from doing that? What stops us from doing that is the accumulation of all this infiltration that's coming from gravity upwards, because that's what we've grown up with, because we spent most of our life in that state of being. That's what's had our power mostly. So I'm talking in a general sense here, okay? So this is the natural course of life from childhood to adulthood and consciousness and maturity. So we've spent so much time being controlled from the bottom up that this, of course, has more power over us than being present in the moment, than being in our core from knowing who we are. Being in our core and knowing who we are those, it's an opportunity that we have every moment, being present. And it's really hard because of all these everything, life out there, and everything that we've been built upon, our karma. We are made of everything that's happened in our past. But the truth is, yes, it's made us who we are, but we can only ever be present in the moment. Now, karma is action. It's not punishment or a wrong deed, like we've done something wrong in the past and it'll come back around. There's a lot of illusion around that. Karma is purely and simply every action that we have taken in the past. And I'm doing this because I'm going backwards, going into our history. It's an accumulation. We are an accumulation physically, genetically, of our past. Everything we've been given and every choice that we've made, we get to own that and really own that. And when we own that and we're present, that's when we can choose, make a decision to do something differently. And the moment we choose to do something differently, we begin to take on a new karma, because we're taking different actions. And what's really tricky is not only have we got this battle with our own will, we also have all of this psychic infiltrated energy and karma from our past, and dealing with that in our will, but also from our ancestors, etc., etc. And it's a huge factor. And the one turning point, this part in the middle of the hourglass, the heart center, the present moment, and building that strength in the core between the third chakra and the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, is where, when we're present, this is where we get to open up and really, really powerfully begin to change our lives. And it's not until we come to here, the turning point, that we can ever even begin welcoming in anything new. And here's the truth. Every day, as I mentioned, we're given information from above, from our higher nature, every moment, and we're blocking it, we're not hearing it. But this is also, think about it up here. Everybody talks, the brain gets a bit of a bad rap because, we know that, addiction and all kinds of things, and our will has us make unhealthy choices. But the truth is, if we were present and receiving the healthy information that we know, it's all there, we know it, we're just blocking it. If we're in the present moment and open to receiving new ways forward, being more present and more conscious in this moment, then we are actually receiving into our mind healthy wisdom, true power, truth, absolute truth. We are being guided the truth all the time. So we then get to work with the heart and the mind, and this coherence is super powerful because it's telling the truth, and in the middle is speaking our word, our truth. And I'm going to talk about that another time. But this is where the truth, we only ever receive the truth intuitively. If we're here on earth, and we are in gravity, and we're looking outside for answers to our questions, in the busyness of life, making decisions, doing, we're not going to find the truth in that. The true guidance, and it really is the best guidance you can ever receive, is going to come. You already know it, but you get to be present to receive it. And this is what's really powerful. So here we are, our third, fourth chakra, the middle of between our heart and our core being, our self-esteem. We have this higher part of us, like infusing us from above with all this incredible truth and powerful energy. And from below, we have all of this information that we've got, our past, that's kind of part of us, that's physically within us, chemically. And here we are in the middle, like, oh, where do we go? Where do we do? What do we choose? And this is why being present in the moment, because what's true is our third chakra is like, and our second chakra, the survival is good. But because we're so weighted down with busyness and survival here on earth, we're not giving anything a chance. We're so busy dealing with that. We're not dealing, we're not in the jungle anymore, surviving, running, to save our lives. We're just not. We're all fighting each other. One-to-one relationships, fight, war. We are far smarter than that. We get to be in the third, the fourth chakra, to be present, to receive, that, but get a healthy balance between our instincts of survival and our guidance of survival, our next steps, the wise decisions going forward. And what truth is, if we could be in our presence and fully in ownership more often, and truthful and responsible in our relationships, in our conversations, then we're gonna, every decision we make is from a place of absolute clarity and personal empowerment. And that's our highest potential. And it takes work. Yes, it takes work. And this is our work. It is our biggest responsibility, truly, to work on this. Not from a place of blame and shame, like second chakra, out there, war, attack, defense. From a place of knowing who we are, being opening our hearts to seeing and receiving just the love and the guidance of other people in our lives. There is so much out there. And we spoke a little bit about, attraction. What we put out is what we attract. So again, I just really want to bring in this really important subject of bringing your awareness into your third and fourth chakra, into your heart center, because that is where the power is. Absolutely. And I will talk about the fifth chakra another time, because we, there are obviously through trauma and behavior of our past, and also what we've inherited from our ancestors, and since the 40s, the whole movement, the whole spiritual movement, we've inherited a lot of karma and a lot of substance from the past, and the shame and all of that. And when we come up into the fifth chakra, and we're really working to forge our own way forward, it's like we're fragile, because we are carrying the ghosts almost of our past and our ancestors that never, they left this world. They left this life having not resolved things, whether it's through, sudden death, whether it's through addiction or ill, or, terrible, terrible things that have happened, people being killed, losing their lives. There's a lot of incomplete cycles of life that we are carrying. We're carrying it. We, this generation, are carrying it, and so are our kids, big time. Big time. And we wonder, our child, our eldest son, one of our kids, he's sensitive to everything. He doesn't, he's just not grounded. It's so, this whole, the virus, everything. The virus is a first chakra. That's where it's come from. It's come from this lower level of consciousness, of survival. It's not who we are today. It's not who we're being called to be. And our kids are really struggling with that, because they have no grounding. They've kind of come in, these incredible, beautiful beings here to teach us, and they're trying to ground, they're trying to anchor, and they can't. They're really struggling. And then the other half of us, literally, we're probably 50-50 on the planet right now, are so anchored to survival that we cannot get off the ground and come into our heart at all. So this is where we're at. And I invite you to think about this weekend, because we've got this kind of like this push energy going on, and the work between our self-esteem and allowing in the soul to speak with us, to be present and allow our soul, our higher nature, to guide us in every decision. That is our work. And unless we start putting in the time to not be busy and not distracted, the sooner we do that, the better it's going to be for us as an individual, but for us as a nation, as a culture right now, as a world. It's so, so vital that we all begin to pay attention to this. So I'm going to leave it at that for this weekend. So I look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Last thing, I have put a little note in the description. I'm going to read this to you. This is a gorgeous book that was introduced to me by Robert Holden, who, this basically is written by Eileen Caddy. She's one of the creators of Findhorn, which is in northern Scotland on the coast. It's a community that was created back in the 50s, 60s, for, I guess they were the first kind of new age people, whereby, they grew their own vegetables, and it became quite a big community very quickly. And now it's huge, and a lot of very extraordinary teachers and wise people go there now all year round to teach. It's, worldwide, people go from all over to visit this extraordinary place. And Eileen Caddy is one of the co-founders of Findhorn. And this is a little book that her son published, that she used to receive messages, and there are things, there's a whole story to her life that she manifested, or her husband did. She was receiving messages intuitively from the divine, from her higher nature, from that part that we're all from. And she was able to communicate them in the most profoundly beautiful way that it just blows me away. Basically, there's one for every day of the year in here. It's a little poem, a little thought, a little prayer. And it blows me away how significant and how poignant they are today in this world today. So I invite you to get this little book. It's on Amazon. And here's today's date. So this is March 18th. I've put the details in the description. So March 18th. Is your heart in what you are doing? You cannot create the new heaven and earth if what you do lacks the hallmarks of love and dedication. See that what you are doing, no matter what it is being done to my honor and glory, as in higher nature, in congruency with higher nature, to my honor and my glory. Then you will want to do it perfectly. Remember, never do a job because it has to be done. Being busy, being busy. If such is your attitude, before you even start doing it, go away by yourself, seek grace, and get into tune. When your attitude has changed and you feel at peace and in harmony, then go ahead and do it. You will find when your attitude is right, you will not only be able to do it perfectly, you will also be able to do it at a greater speed. The more souls who can do what has to be done in the right spirit, in the upper chakras, in the spirit of who we are, the quicker will heaven be brought down on earth. Isn't that stunning? It's stunning. It's stunning. It is so beautiful. I'm going to read it again. Is your heart in what you are doing? You cannot create the new heaven and earth if what you do lacks the hallmarks of love and dedication. See that what you are doing, no matter what it is being done to my honor and glory. Then you will want to do it perfectly. Remember, never do a job because it has to be done. Then you will want to do it perfectly. Remember, never do a job because it has to be done. If such is your attitude, before you even start doing it, go away by yourself, seek grace, and get into tune. When your attitude has changed and you feel at peace and in harmony, then go ahead and do it. You will find when your attitude is right, you will not only be able to do it perfectly, but you will also be able to do it at a greater speed. The more souls who can do what has to be done in the right spirit, the quicker will my haven be brought down on earth. I'll leave it at that. Have an amazing weekend. Take a look at the link as well. Go and have a look at the information for our membership, the Realising You membership. The doors open next Friday, a week today, for 4 days only, and then that will be until the end of September. So it's all about empowering you. That's what I'm here for. Okay, send me a message if you have any questions. I hope today has been helpful for you. Have an incredible weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week.